not to Bundina, but to my place again. And I wanted to speak in this tutorial, the last in the forgiveness series, about forgiving our parents. So we're going to use some of the tools that we've already talked about, but just talk specifically about our parents and how sometimes we need to let our hurt, disappointment, anger, resentment, bitterness, all those negative words that we don't want in our lives anymore, out the door. So when I had my children, I decided that I really wanted to raise them differently than what I'd been raised. And that's because I really wanted to give them more. I wanted to be more involved. I wanted to give them more love and more opportunities and things, more of everything, really. It's pretty common nowadays. It's very fashionable. However, when I started to think about that, I wondered why it was that my parents hadn't wanted, seemingly, to give me more than what they'd had. It seemed to me that they'd given me just the same sort of childhood they'd had. You know, why isn't it that they weren't overcome with the love that I was for my children about me to give me more? And at the same time, in deciding that I was going to give a different childhood to my children, I didn't really know how to go about it because I had no mentors. I hadn't been, I was doing something completely outside of what I knew. All I knew was how I'd been brought up. So when you decide that you're going to do it differently, you have to find new ways to do it, and that can take a lot of courage, and you know, you need a lot of confidence and things to go ahead and just do it your way when everybody else, or at least those people that you knew, did it some other way. So in this way, I was kind of looking back at my parents, and I said to my mum, I asked her why she hadn't seemingly given me more. Why didn't she want my childhood to be different from hers? And she said to me that when she went to school, she used to go in secondhand clothes, hand-me-downs. They didn't fit properly. They, you know, she didn't look pretty. She didn't have any of the nice things that some of the other kids had, like ribbons and, you know, nice things. However, I went to school every day, lovely, you know, neat little socks, and my hair done beautifully with ribbons all the time, and my ribbons always matched whatever outfit I was wearing. My outfits were always mine. They weren't handed down or anything. And so in this way, my mother had given me what she really wanted. It just turned out it wasn't what I really wanted, but she wasn't to know that. All she knew was she was trying to give me the things that really seemed important to her when she was a child. They just weren't that important to me. So later on on How to Happiness, I'm going to talk about a book called 5 Languages of Love. I think that's it. And it talks about how you can be giving love the way that, you know, your idea of what love is. You can be giving that, but somebody else isn't receiving love, because that's not love as far as they're concerned. So getting on the right track and getting into the right language is really helpful. So one way that we can look at our parents perhaps with a little bit more empathy and understanding is to understand that they may have been given a certain sort of love, but we weren't responding because it wasn't our sort of love. So finding out about things like that can be really helpful. One way to do that, of course, is to talk to your parents and find out, I don't know, what it was they thought that they gave you that was special. You know, let's see what's going on in their head. But another way too is to maybe find out a little bit about their background and how they were brought up, because not everybody is going to want or think even to do things differently. Some people, you know, don't realise that there's other ways of doing things, and so your parents might have done exactly the same as what they got without any thought to make it otherwise, or so entrenched within this situation that they don't know how to do it a different way. So in these ways we can maybe take a bit of a look at our parents and try to, always we're just trying to find a way that we can understand, empathize, have some compassion and some generosity in the way that we look at them, so that we can go ahead then and forgive them for not being quite what we could have hoped for, not as much. Another thing about parents that I've found too, that we quite often don't think about, is that as much as it might not have been perfect, sometimes the way that we've been brought up, maybe some negative aspects of the way we've been brought up, actually can create a type of drive within us that pushes us towards something that we actually do really well. For instance, as an example, maybe my parenting, maybe just that I didn't have the parenting that I would have liked, has made me perhaps a really great parent. Perhaps not on Monday mornings, not a great parent then, but you know, I might be the parents that my kids actually need, and giving them significantly more just because of what I had back then. But sometimes our parents, because perhaps they don't acknowledge us or what we're doing, can give us a real drive towards creating great things, or working really hard, or becoming really wonderful within our careers, because we're driven to try to get them to acknowledge us, but ultimately it still has driven us towards a higher level. So I'm hoping that some of these things will help you to try to let go of whatever, you know, thing is going on with your parents that can be really dragging you down. And a lot of what parents can do and the way that they raise us really can have some, you know, not great effects on the way that we are now. But we want to let those go. So find your way to be able to be a little generous about your parents, so that you can give them some forgiveness. You can forgive them within yourself at least, and let go of that past, so you can start being whoever it is you want to be, no longer anchored to that person, that victim, that child who was hurt. So I hope this has helped. Don't forget to get to the video, to the website, and get your comments in there. Check out the meditation and the exercises, so that you can start forgiving. And once you've done one, just go back and do another one. Forgive them all. It's wonderful. Okay, I hope you enjoy this. I hope it makes a really big impact on your happiness level.